what if the story of Genesis wasn't the only beginning? Today, we're going to dive into a satirical play that imagines a whole parallel creation myth, one that was born from a cosmic argument and, yeah, a divine betrayal.
Okay, so just imagine for a second. What if everything you think you know about the beginning, Adam and Eve, the whole fall from grace, what if that was just half the story? What if it had a parallel version, a comedic twin born from a cosmic fight? So the whole setup for this play is just genius. It all starts with a lab accident at CERN that accidentally reveals a mirror universe they call the positive world. And this discovery throws us right into its totally bizarre and hilarious origin story. So our story here begins not with a bang, but with, well, a bicker. Yeah, forget all that solemn, majestic creation stuff. This is all about cosmic chaos and what is basically a divine domestic dispute that literally splits reality in two. Okay, so this whole play cleverly hangs on a real scientific idea called symmetry breaking. But here's the fun part. It totally reinterprets this huge cosmic event as something we can all understand, a relationship hitting the rocks. It's the moment God and his partner, counter-God, just start to, drift apart. And this quote just perfectly captures the tone, right? The temperature of the universe is dropping, and God and counter-God are trying to, let's just say, get creative. But the vibe is totally ruined. This isn't some grand divine plan unfolding. No, it's a frustrated couple whose universal symmetry and their romantic moment is just completely falling apart. I mean, look at this. This slide is amazing because it turns physics into a total farce. In a tiny fraction of a second, perfect symmetry is gone because they're arguing. Their fundamental forces are literally pulling apart. But the final straw, the thing that actually breaks reality, it's pure petty comedy. God secretly pockets 3 extra electrons. It's like hiding spare change from your partner. And that one little act throws the entire cosmic balance sheet into absolute chaos. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that the universe didn't split because of some grand, unknowable mystery. Nope. It happened because of a petty, super relatable act of cheating. God's little pocket money of 3 electrons, that becomes the real original sin that creates our world and this parallel positive world. All right, so let's jump over to this newly formed positive world and see how things are different. This universe is now run by the spurned counter-god who is transformed into a female deity called the Purple Sun. And her very first act of creation? It's a total game changer. And this right here, this lays out the core flip-flop. In this new world, God is female. The first human is a woman named Mava, and the man, who they call Madam, he's created second, from a bone in her pelvis. I mean, every single patriarchal assumption is just turned completely on its head from day one. And let me tell you, Mava is not some passive character in the background. She's made in her god's image, so she's intelligent, she's proactive. Right away, she starts naming the birds and the worms without anyone telling her to. Her first big challenge is actually a physical one, figuring out how to walk upright. This journey to become Homo erectus. And Madame? He's not her boss. He's created specifically to be her companion. All right, now we get to the climax of this whole creation story, the temptation and the fall. But as you've probably guessed by now, this version doesn't end with punishment. Nope, it ends with a promotion. So the setup is going to sound familiar, but with these hilarious little twists. The forbidden fruit, it's not an apple, it's a banana. And the tempter isn't some sly snake, it's a flamboyant and, honestly, pretty persuasive peacock. And the peacock's pitch is actually really compelling. He tells them, hey, eating this banana won't lead to death. It'll lead to immortality. You'll get the ability to create new life yourselves. So what do? They do it. They eat the fruit, they discover their sexuality, and they kind of brace themselves for what comes next. So this is the moment we're all waiting for, right? The moment of shame, the divine anger, the expulsion from the garden, right? Wrong. So wrong. The Purple Sun comes down, and instead of being furious, she's there to congratulate them. Her response just completely turns everything we expect on its head. Their disobedience wasn't a sin. It was a breakthrough. And oh my gosh, what a reward it is. They get immortality through their children. The Purple Sun is actually thrilled because they've just taken the tough job of creation off her plate. She literally hands them the title deed to their own planet, anti-Earth. And the tempter, the peacock, he gets honored with a new name, the Bird of Paradise. Can you believe it? So you have to wonder, what kind of world grows from a seed like that? This last section looks at the huge societal consequences of having a creation story that's all about reward instead of punishment. This table really just crystallizes all the differences, doesn't it? Lineage becomes matrilineal. It's traced through Mava. Woman is the primary source of humanity. The first sin gets reframed as this courageous, important act. And maybe most importantly, think about this philosophical shift. Human nature isn't seen as inherently flawed or broken. It's seen as genetically coded for cooperation and goodness right from the very start. So on this anti-Earth, the first children, a boy and a girl, are born just naturally industrious and good. There's no Cain and Abel story here. A world that has no concept of original sin means the very idea of a brother murdering a brother is just dismissed as this weird, illogical, interesting paradox. Their whole foundational story has programmed them for harm. And that's what brings us to the final, really provocative thought here. I mean, yeah, this play is a satire, but it's asking a seriously deep question. It's holding up a mirror to our own foundational stories, and it makes you wonder, how much of our world is shaped not by what actually happened, but by the stories we've been told about what happened?